Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's very like the person. So, yeah, wait. Chris, I've met you before. I think you got a high flight. Oh, I guess it's something. Well, we're good. Hey, you want me to see the hand? Well, I didn't. It looks like it's quick as it's. Yeah. This one? Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's NBA workout. That's what they can. Yeah. 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 I don't know. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, it's the same. Yeah. Sounds good. And. Hey, that's the John. Yes. Nice to meet you. Currently, Arizona. Yeah. I'm doing something. Yeah, he's pretty busy. Yeah. 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 I know, it's time for you. I know. Yeah. That's good. That's going to be up to the beginning. Oh, yeah, usually at the beginning of the week. That's the positive. I'm glad you bought. Well, let's see. This is this is it's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's recording already. Oh, yeah.
You know, change it's not sound either. Well, like story that. Yeah, so. Around the bend. I'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, because they're. Yeah, so it's.
For one big thing, we might have to do
First he was there.
Well. Yeah. Yeah. That's bottom. I spent as much money as I could. I never got about yeah. 10 years is time that we want to give up. As that's the cue to start. Well, good morning, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. We've got something that hopefully you all will be excited about learning. We're certainly excited to talk about it. Before I get into the presentation, I just want to do some quick introductions. My name is Justin Hopkins. I'm here at Stockton's Water District. Also, a few of our board members in attendance, Amy Watkins, Richard Atkins, and Melvin Paniza. Hopefully, most of you found the refreshments already. If you need to use the rec room, they're right through this door. I'm actually going to start off with the punchline. This is a call to action. We need your support to help you, essentially. But in the big scheme, it's really to help the groundwater basin. So many of you have already responded to our call to action because one, you are here today. So again, thank you. And two, everyone on this map here along our conveys facility has been contacted by our water supply manager, Chris Donis, hi Chris, or his staff. And the purpose of that was to try and establish out-of-district water contracts with everyone that has the ability to take water. But important to note, I think at this time, that those contracts are just an agreement that allow us to deliver you water and you to receive it. It doesn't obligate you to take water, and it doesn't obligate us to deliver it. It's just a mechanism to facilitate that. So if you haven't signed the contract yet, if you have any hesitation, again, it's just it's a obligation on either side to take the water or deliver the water, because we do understand that the water is very expensive. So, perfect segue to this slide. Why are we calling you to action? Over the past several years, we've noticed the surface water use in Stanislaus County, where we're able to deliver it, has been on the decline. From customer feedback, we understand that that's largely due to the cost of that water. We have to purchase it in Mobile and South San Joaquin irrigation districts. When I first got here, I think it was about $125 an acre foot your cost. Now it's upwards of $225 an acre foot, but it's some pretty expensive water, so we understand. But we still need to get more surface water put to use in the basin. That is because of SGMA, or the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. So this is California's first groundwater law. It was established in 2014. And it defined the Eastern San Joaquin groundwater subbasin, which underlies Stockton East, underlies your land, as critically overdraft. As such, we have to get to groundwater sustainability by 2040 and submit a plan to the state that identifies how we're going to do that. And that plan is called a Groundwater Sustainability Plan, or GSP. So to give you another punchline, the only way to get to sustainability is to use less groundwater. But that's it. And there's ways to do that. One is fallow land, so you don't pump, or use surface water in lieu of groundwater. Now, sustainability is measured with 6 undesirable results, the state calls them. And those include depletion of interconnected surface waters, land subsidence, degradation of water quality, groundwater quality, seawater intrusion into the aquifer, reduction in aquifer storage, and then the leading concern, lowering of groundwater levels. So hopefully you're wondering, where are we at with SGMA today? So looking at water year 2024, the basin is still using a lot of groundwater. Some areas in the basin have recovery groundwater levels, as pointed to with the red arrow there. That's this campus where we recharge water. You can see the groundwater levels have come up. But there's also areas that have declining groundwater levels, and the area circled on the right there is the east side GSA, which is where most of your land is located. Which is the state's definition for the maximum depth of groundwater that's allowed in the GSP. Then the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, or GSA, has to initiate management actions to prevent further decline of the level. That could be administrative, could be projects, but the ultimate backstop is pumping curtailment. So as a basin, we don't have a program for that yet, The framework is currently in development for groundwater sustainability plan that was submitted in 2022. That has to be set up by the end of 2028. And set up as in framework developed, GSAs develop a policy, and then that policy is implemented. So several of our board members, well, 2 of the 3 that are here today, they are also growers, and they sit on the board of the Stockton East GSA, which happens to be the same board as Stockton East Water District. Try to strategically place them around the room so that we can participate in some small group discussion. I'd like to hear, I'll float around as you talk, but I'd like to kind of go to each group and hear what your concerns are related to Sigma, given what you know previously, and then what the very high level overview we just gave. So go ahead and take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll reconvene.
My question would be, how is it determined that this is critically overdrafted? Because my understanding, because I've worked with a lot of things down in the south, it's critically overdrafted. Subsiding. Now it's and that's pretty broad. Water.
So. And so you can go over here. So you're out in our service area, but this is why you see the. And that's there here. And so a lot of you guys are there or inside of it. And so what we want to do is expand our service area to be able to install that serving. But they really already serve. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So your guys stops up here. Yeah. Or okay. So then this is all set up. Yeah, the yellow central here.
Well, what is,
Okay.
what's the ID trying to help control?
Well, they want to be sellable.
Because it's more profitable for them.
Doesn't help you any, doesn't help them. I mean, that's. You need to see something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we gotta somehow try to get them to agree to pay less. What you can do is to get to OID to get us the water at cheaper rates.
No, what we're trying to do is to, so we create be a partner.
Yeah.
And sell it to you without any fallback. But we need them to stop opposing our teams.
So you guys are trying to make a change to the contract.
Once the contract finishes, but we are coming to the.
Yeah, so like we're here to help that contract to zero.
With support, not only severe, we will go from residents because they don't want any problems with the other district. But politically, we want support to make sure that we.
Still, what's going on there? It's just a matter of. Yes.
Go ahead, you can start it again. So as we address a few questions that we made note of, where the monitoring was located and kind of where did this determination come from that this area has such a large declining groundwater level? I don't remember off the top of my head the exact number, but there's somewhere 21 monitoring wells for the basin, which is the entire colored area there. Those levels are measured twice a year, spring and fall, and input into what's called the Eastern San Joaquin Integrated Water Resources Model. That's the model that the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Authority uses for monitoring all the undesirable results. And that model interpolates those levels and creates a heat chart, which is what this is. So I don't know the location of all the wells. They are identified within a map in the Eastern San Joaquin Groundwater Sustainability Plan. So I don't know if there's a well in that explicit area. I know there's one near Woodward Reservoir, which is kind of in that area, but I don't know if there's one in the portion of the map that has the most groundwater level. Question about just why can't we recharge water in Stanislaus County? We currently have an issue of delivering water in Stanislaus County, which is why I invite you all here. With our contract we have with Bureau of Reclamation, we don't actually have water rights to any of the water in the Stanislaus River or New Reservoir. We have a water supply contract with Bureau of Reclamation. They hold the right, and per our contract, we're not allowed to deliver water outside of our district boundary. And so we can't recharge in Stanislaus County. The other thing that we've learned, because we've been working on sustainability here for over 75 years, that's why we were born, is the most, not just cost effective, but effective period form of recharge is in lieu. And that's the process of using surface water in lieu of groundwater. We see pretty good recharge results here because our depth of groundwater is like 30 feet. There's not a lot of soil that the water has to travel through the aquifer. When your depth of groundwater is 135 feet, it takes a long time. There's some studies done back in, I want to say 2014. The average age of the groundwater in our basin is 50 years. So we assume it takes 50 years for that water to put on the surface to get down to the aquifer. Sigma deadline is in 16 years. So the recharge won't catch up for 34 years after we have to be sustainable. So in lieu is what we would use as the most effective method. charging surface water, you just don't pump the groundwater and use surface water instead. There was a question about why we're a critically overdraft basin. That's the designation the state gave this basin. They created the Sigma law. I was told that we were very close to being a high priority. The only difference it makes between a high priority and a critically overdraft is if you're a high priority, you get until 2042 to get to sustainability. For years, but the rules, the objectives, the thresholds are the same across the board, no matter what priority basin. Out of the Modesto subbasin, the well mitigation program compared to Eastern San Joaquin proposed well mitigation. I actually don't know. We're not part of the Modesto subbasin. I think the only GSA in our basin that overlies both is Ojo. But I'm not sure what the Modesto subbasin's well mitigation program is. So with that, I wanted to reflect on Stockton East's vision. And this was our vision that was adopted as part of our 2023 strategic plan. And so our vision is to be a regional leader and reliable partner by implementing innovative solutions for our agricultural and urban customers, secure existing and additional water resources, and achieving groundwater basin sustainability. So I want to highlight some key phrases in this: regional leader, reliable partner, innovative solutions, and groundwater basin sustainability. So we're looking at not just sustainability within Stockton East, we've been looking at it at a basin scale. So as a regional leader, we've actually identified several cost-effective Sigma solutions that are outside of our GSA area, beyond our fiefdom of the basin. And the concept is that, a rising tide, or in this case, a rising aquifer, raises all ships. So we're looking at trying to deliver our surface water in Stanislaus County. Wondering why Stanislaus County just doesn't deliver you surface water, because they don't have any. We have surface water available. Actually, the East Side Division, which is Stockton East and Central, has 155,000 acre feet allocation. When we receive a full allocation, we're presently using about 80,000 acre feet. So that 75,000 acre feet that we're not using disappear on January 1. Water's still in the reservoir. We don't have any storage in Maloney. We don't have any carryover rights. It just becomes unavailable to us. Our objective for Sigma is to use all the surface water when we have it. So I'm a big proponent of the parallel path method. So we've been going down two paths to get us to the same end goal. The first is annexation. I know the district tried this back in 2017, 2018, proposed by Oakdale Irrigation District. LAFCO didn't proceed with it. We had some subsequent discussions with Oakdale. Verbally, they say they're not going to oppose it, but we don't really know until it goes to LAFCO. But even with an annexation, there's two paths to get to that. First is LAFCO doesn't allow islands. So our district has to have a contiguous boundary. We can't just have a chunk of our district disconnected from the present district boundary. So to do that, we can either merge with Central, and that would extend our boundary down to Farmington, and then we could bring in your lands in Stanislaus County. The LAFCO is interested in doing that, so the LAFCO fees for that are about $2,400. And the other option is there's several options to extend our boundary, annex land down to Shirley Hills Creek and then along. The option that was discussed with LAFCO was to detach land from Central so that we could have our conveyance facility in our district. because LAFCO is interested in consolidations and not just moving land around. The LAFCO fees to do that were about $550,000. So that's pretty expensive to, bring the district down to Farmington and then head east. The other option is to modify our CEP contract. We've been working on this since July of 2023. We're proposing to change our delivery area so that it includes Stanislaus County. However, we have been receiving some active opposition on this. I'm not going to name names, but it's 2 irrigation districts. And they are not only, they're opposing us serving water in Stanislaus County, and then there's some other benefits that the modification will provide us that they're also opposing. So it's not just you all, there's a few other areas. So what might that detachment annexation look like? I apologize for our inconsistent maps here. Our engineers are brilliant, but sometimes they struggle with conceptual ideas, so the maps don't match up. But the detachment area that we discussed with LAFCO, that Bianca's highlighting here, so that would be detached from central. There's also some white area, or area that's not within the district that's included in that. That'd be annexed to Stockton East, and then the annexation would extend easterly along our conveyance facilities to pick up all those parcels shown on the more colorful map there. Yeah, it's just the Eugene. Oh, it's Eugene. Where's her? Right here in Shirley Gulch. This is where our canal ends, and we dump water into Shirley Creek. So I believe, let's see, Milton Road it would be. Yeah, well, it's south of this.
Yeah, okay.
These, who's HC4? You know who HC4 is? Is that Whittles? Yeah. All right, so this is the Whittles property right here. That blue square.
It would help if on these maps we're in the Stanislaus, Modesto subbasin. If you would put more roads on there so people can figure out where they are. They do the same thing. It's really hard to tell where you are. Or put section lines on there. Most of us know what a section line is, so we can figure it out. It's hard to get it done though.
So moving over to our proposed Central Valley project contract modification. Our actual proposal to the Bureau is to replace Exhibit A of our contract. And Exhibit A defines the area in which we're allowed to deliver water. The Bureau, because of the speed at which federal government moves, still has our pre-2004 boundary reference in our contract. Since 2004, we've annexed 7,000 acres. The city's grown. So that they need to base our contract anyhow. You're proposing that they use this map. And some context to this map, the little red land on the very right-hand side, now that's a parcel that's in Calaveras County that happens to be in Stockton East already. When you build our conveyance system, somehow they got annexed to the district. The yellow area, that's the northern part of the triangle of Stanislaus County. That's where your land is located. We're showing all the way to the tri-county point there. We don't really have the ability to deliver water all the way out there. So we thought, why limit it? The southern boundary is somewhat arbitrary. That's Little Johns Creek that we use as a southern boundary, but it largely keeps us out of Oakdale Irrigation District. Because that most of San Joaquin County in its entirety has been included. What's missing there is central. the Bureau won't allow us to have the right to deliver water to Central. That's their right. And then the teal area is Contra Costa County. Now, do that next section. So what would that, either of those, allow us to do for Sigma? So again, here's the previous map we showed on the right with the declining groundwater levels. The map on the left is our GSA map. And we could deliver water potentially to these areas highlighted in yellow. We've identified that the east side GSA could use immediately almost about 5,000 acre feet of surface water because there are existing surface water diversions. Some of them continue to take transfer water from us. Some stop because of the cost. And then that, so can you highlight that little area where the 11 is? So the 5,000 acre feet. Yes. So that other yellow area, just above the highlight, that's a white area in San Joaquin County. There's an existing demand of 3,000 acre feet in that area. And then we have interest from the city of Lakewood to deliver, to receive up to 1,000 acre feet of surface water. And so those are all immediate numbers, the immediate offset to groundwater pumping. It is, that is only accomplished through modifying our CDP contract. We annex the land, we would still get the 8,000 acre feet. It wouldn't address the city of Lathrop's demands. And then you may notice on the very bottom left corner there's the Contra Costa Water District logo. So we have entered into a memorandum of understanding with Contra Costa Water District to explore the possibility of doing a water transfer or groundwater banking program. And the reason that is important is we have 75,000 acre feet of running water media use. That has a cost of rough order of magnitude about $7.5 million infrastructure to use that. We also just on the south and east side have done a lot of projections for the next 50 years based on various models used for the Calaveras watershed, groundwater basin, healthy rivers and landscapes. And we're going to have a deficit of surface water by 2075, somewhere in the magnitude of 43 to 75,000 acre feet per year. To address that, we have some very large scale projects we're working on. Arlington Reservoir, create 112,000 acre feet of surface water storage, water supply enhancement project, on the Calaveras side, create 110,000 acre feet of below ground storage. So these are very expensive. They're about $350 million magnitude projects. But we can't support funding that locally. So Contra Costa, the ability to send some water to Contra Costa is to generate revenue to pay for the big project and sustain the supply in the basin. Now that was a lot of information, a lot of data and stuff. So we're going to take another quick break to get together as groups. I'll float around, answer questions. We'll write some down to be addressed with the group, and then we'll
I'm curious. But if Sydney's
This great segment.
Your water, anytime.
Yes. You would think.
Some of that.
Sounds like.
So.
Yeah. 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 So, and. Working. At the time. But so. Well, maybe.
You have to go to.
Water. This is very. It's all. It would be. Yeah. Here. Some things are well, okay,
But yeah, I get
Well, as head of
Yeah, eight. You're not. Yep. That is for your. All right. So. Yeah, I'm just starting. Some of the things that we really has, so that might be. We still, there's a few questions about their rights and why we would serve them. I know I've had some conversations with the city about them pulling water out of San Joaquin River, on the river, I don't remember exactly why they do not use San Joaquin River water. It may be the cost of constructing a treatment facility. Pretty big cost in constructing a treatment plant. And it's not necessarily proportional to the size of the treatment plant. So our plant was 65 MDB. SSJ, we think is a difference in that construction because there's a lot of the cost doesn't scale. It's just kind of a fixed cost. But I believe that's why the city of Lathrop doesn't pull water out of San Joaquin River. They do get water from South San Joaquin Irrigation District currently from their treatment plant. However, the Lathrop has reached their maximum amount of water from that plant. So the only way for the city of Lathrop to get more water from SSGID is to pay for the plant expansion, which is estimated at $380 million. So they're looking at this from an economic perspective. We can, that's going to be very expensive water. It's been $380 million to upgrade the SSGID plant. It's $300 million on rain plant. We have the contractual right of customers to serve them. We have capacity to serve them. We have water to serve them. And there's an intertie with city of Stockton that we have to physically serve them. Just on paper, we're not allowed to. So that's why we're talking to City of Lathrop. They're trying to find the least cost water in the area to deliver to their customer. Some questions about the 25,000 acre feet water that was going to be in Bachelor Valley as part of the New Millenniums, the East Side Division of the Central Valley Project. My understanding from our legal counsel is that with the WIN Act, when that came out and converted all the contracts for the CP, that at that time, no more contracts were going to be issued on the Central Valley Project. So that water is not available anymore. Whatever's been contracted in New Millenniums as of the date of the WIN Act, which was several years ago, that's it for the contracts. Question about guarantee of water, if there was annexation of the district. None of our customers have a guarantee of water, but if we have water, because of the way we're allocated, if we have water, it will be available to you. Because our allocation is either all or nothing. When we receive an allocation, we have a full allocation, and that's when we have water in the reservoir currently. When we don't receive an allocation, we have zero, and none of our New Orleans customers get water anyhow. So, but it is something, you know, maybe there's a possibility of.
Justin, are there times that Central has water available, but Stockton East does not?
Yes, yeah, in a dry water year type, Central receives 49,000 acre feet.
What's the frequency you guys receive a full allocation?
So the allocation policy wasn't implemented by the Bureau until the end of 2021, December 2021. So far,
it's been, maybe 25% of the years, we've not received water, so the other 75% we have. But going backwards, looking backwards in time, till 93, we would receive water about 55%. Hydrology working. And there's only, I think, 6 of those years, 4 or 6 of those years that Central would have received water in the year. But it's not a lot. That was all the questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, Josh, I had a question. You mentioned that the 2 irrigation districts oppose you annexing land in Stanislaus County District. It seems like, there's a common goal to have sustainable groundwater. What are the reasons for their opposition?
So previously, in 2017, 2018, the opposition was some of our proposed annexation area is in Oakdale's sphere of influence. It's outside of their district, within their sphere of influence. Technicality of that is Oakdale has the right to annex the land within the sphere of influence into the district. They've chosen not to do that. Now with Sigma, these verbally seem like they are not opposed to us annexing them. They are opposed to our CDP contract, but they've said that they wouldn't oppose us at the LAPCO level if we try to annex that. One other, I wanted to make a point related to the Stanislaus River Basin water and the 25,000 acre feet of Bachelor Valley. There are a lot of details in this whole process that we really haven't got into yet, because right now we're just trying to get the momentum to make it possible. But I think it is probably a worthwhile discussion if we might be able to petition the Bureau to convert there wouldn't be any additional allocation, but convert a portion of our current allocation into what they classify as firm water. So that 25,000 acre feet for Bachelor Valley would be considered firm water. The 49,000 acre feet that Central gets in the dry year that we don't is because they have firm water. And so that could be a possibility. And then, we could, then firm water goes to your area first. There's a lot of discussion that would have to happen around that. Specifically, Bureau of Reclamation, Stockton's board. But yeah, it could be a possibility. I just don't know.
Does Central use their allocation, like that, the dry year water?
They do. That way. So there was a lawsuit between our urban contractors and Central. From the settlement of that lawsuit, Stockton East gets Central's first 15,000 acre feet for the benefit of our urban contractors. So if you subtract that 15,000 acre feet, you're left with 34,000 acre feet, and that's about what Central uses. Yes.
So on this, for ground that you're hoping to use as if you annex, as kind of here we got all this ground. What if that ground has never been farmed? It's just grazing ground, like we're up at the very upper end, it's just grazing ground.
Yeah.
So that is, let me go back to that map. So it's a little difficult to tell from the map, but yes, most of this area out here is not improved. It's grazing ground. There's some irrigation here. I think it was Mr. Borbo's, and then more grazing ground. So one of the conversations that we probably need to have at some point, because this was just the map that was being used back in 2018 as the proposed annexation. And we might be able to decrease our opposition
Bill and sell some of the irrigation. But when we are getting because one of their concerns is promoting agricultural growth in Stanislaus County. And so we may need to revise this map and we include only ground that has been historically irrigated. Conversation we can have still. Question?
So, in that case where it was dry land and, they said, okay, we'll go along with this, how much would they have to pay? Would they have to pay any money at all on an annual or any basis?
Yes, so that's a decision that the documents board will have to make. That there's going to be an annexation fee. As far as kind of ongoing costs, we would have a surface water rate. And I think depending on whether it's delivered through a CDP contract modification or through annexation, that would likely have different rates based on those two scenarios. In either case, I'd expect it to be about half of what we're currently selling the water for, the transfer water, $235 an acre. Then we also have a groundwater fee. So if you come into the district and you pump groundwater, then we charge currently $6 and change per acre foot, subject to increase every year. We do not have any other special assessments. We'll get a portion of property taxes from the county, but that doesn't, you won't see any change from that.
With the domestic well?
Oh, that's right, thank you. And we have a domestic well charge. It's $56, 50, on? Remember? 54? 54. About $55 per domestic unit. Not necessarily per well, but per well. $55 per unit.
Take your groundwater charge?
We have a groundwater charge of $6.60 per acre foot. That's a fee we assess all of our in-district customers so that we don't have to put the full cost of using surface water on their surface water customers. The groundwater customers are benefiting by keeping the groundwater there. And the surface water customers are contributing by using surface water. We do have our in-district fees. Being in a white area, I don't think Stanislaus County currently assesses any fees for groundwater pumping.
One more?
Yes.
So is the only ground that would be eligible for this annexation would be water that butts up to that upper Farmington Canal?
That is what we started with as a proposal. Obviously, if there's a landowner that owns multiple parcels, then just one of them touches the canal, it would make sense to consider bringing all those parcels in. You would then have an potential issue if you sold single land, getting water to the parcels that disconnected from the river. But this is just to start the discussion. This probably not going to, this will not be the end map that was left. We can add parcels to this, take parcels away.
Because I can think of one landowner that does not touch your district or your canal that probably might be interested, but he's not irrigating now. So
Okay.
he'd have to put a pipeline across our piece of ground to get it to him, but. So then I kind of wonder if the legal thing comes up then, who's responsible for what?
Yes, the way we've treated that situation in Stockton East is if that other parcel that's not touching the river wants water, we will deliver it to them, but they're responsible for getting the water to their property. requires them to negotiate a right of way with the parcel and constructing the infrastructure to get it over to their property.
Are you capable of delivering water down Little John Creek?
Yeah.
Even though your canal is right next to it?
I
Way up above?
believe, yeah, I think Little Johns Creek, I believe, is right here. So we don't actually touch it. We're close, but we don't touch it.
Yeah, it's adjacent to it, isn't
Yes.
Above Little John Creek. In fact, you do have a brand new little outlet that you can drain your canal with.
Yeah, we did just put that drain in the project. That's a consideration. I know down in this area specifically, we definitely are getting close to Oakdale's district boundary, not their sphere of influence. And they,
Touching it.
yeah, I suspect that they definitely would not allow us to bring in any land that's in their district. So that's our proposal. You know, I started this out saying it was a call to action. And so, you know, kind of next steps going forward, Stocktonese would really appreciate your support. We are currently stalled on our CEP contract modification because the Bureau of Reclamation will not move forward on making that change until they stop receiving opposition. And then on the annexation side, we have some verbal confirmation from the district they want to close it. But I know LAFCO is very supportive of it. On either case, ultimately having the Stanislaus County Supervisor support would be a huge feather in their cap. We've asked for that support previously. They seem to like the idea. I know Stanislaus County staff are very supportive of this, but because of the irrigation district opposition, the supervisors have chosen to not take a position on this. So, you know, you wouldn't mind contacting your supervisor or the board of supervisors and let them know you're supportive of this. We would love to get their support. And then lastly would be any letters of support. If you want to provide one, we can give you a template that we can share with the Groundwater Authority Board, LAFCO, Bureau of Reclamation, or any entity that's directly or tangentially involved in getting one of these things accomplished, the contract modification or the annex. That's all I have for today. So again, thank you for coming.
So do you need 100% from this group to move forward?
No, so with the annexation, I was answering this question over here actually. From my discussions with LAFCO, the irrigation districts don't actually have the authority to stop it. They might have the influence, but the LAFCO board doesn't want to take action. But the only entity that, besides LAFCO, that could stop an annexation are the constituents that are being annexed. So if they could go to a vote at 50% plus one vote against the annexation, that's it. But otherwise, it's.
Or you need 51%?
You did 1%.
Okay. Plus one vote.
Yeah. Yes.
So I just kind of a clarification here. You're asking us for our, support in annexing, to your district, but yet the agreement you sent us is an agreement for out of district water service. So, so this agreement isn't saying we want to be annexed, it's saying we want your out of district water. So why is it worded that way instead of we request to be annexed into Stocktonese?
That's one of the other tools that we wanted to use is to show that we have all this interest in water, these out of district water contracts. Why, and this is for Stocktonese to push on the Stanislaus County Supervisor Board. They like your constituents want water, but the water is very expensive. So a lot of them aren't taking it. Support us in getting them some water. But, we're just another agency. We tried appealing to the
supervisor board previously, and they decided to take the position. So I think hearing directly from their constituents would act a little more function and outside of the county agency.
Why haven't you put annexation in there?
What's that?
What's the reason you didn't put out of district in this agreement that says annexation?
But all of to my knowledge, all of our original grant and easements for conveyance facilities have language in there that stops me from annexing. That was part of the exchange. You give us the right to run water through, or in some cases, build the facilities. In exchange, we'll bring you to the district. And that was the reason why behind the annexation effort in 2018, that really. So we, for the last 8 years, have been pretty good.
That's your Ed Stefani era.
Yes. Yeah, Estefani negotiated most of all.
Yeah, all the promises.
Yeah. I guess he didn't realize at the time it wasn't going to be possible. That's maybe a lot of allowing islands, but.
Two questions. Just clarification, LAFCO, are you talking about Stanislaus LAFCO?
No, San Joaquin County LAFCO. So under LAFCO law, the annexing district, or whichever county has the most area of the annexing district is the lead LAFCO. Since we're looking at annexing, that map is totals about 19,500 acres. I don't know, we'll annex that much, but the district's 143,000, a little over 143,000, and it's all in San Joaquin County, so San Joaquin County would be after.
So is it the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors that are?
No, we have a letter of support from San Joaquin County.
So why, if your LAFCO is in San Joaquin County is your big hurdle, what's the problem?
Because San Joaquin County LAFCO was the lead LAFCO 8 years ago when the irrigation districts, or the one irrigation district, lobbied to stop the annexation. And they had enough pull, even in San Joaquin County, to be successful. Support from the San Joaquin County supervisors. County to county level support, that holds a lot more weight than the opposite.
So I'm in Stanislaus County, and I don't have any pull with even San Joaquin.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm not standing.
Apologize.
I should have some pastries, signing, if we haven't. So that way, it's please the ball and update, we can beat it.